is Logan Perkins. I'm 17 years old and I'm a Christ follower. Look, I know what some of you might be thinking out there. Oh snap, he's about to judge us. Try to push God on me. Tell me I'm going to hell, I'm out of here. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Hairspray, but there's a scene in this movie where one of the characters' moms ties her to her bed, comes in her room, has the Bible and holy water, throws it at her and yells, "Devil child, devil child." I promise this is going to be nothing like that. I'll tell you why I'm up here, but first, I want to tell you how I got here. Last summer, I went to a Christian camp called CIY, and it wasn't too different than your normal camp experience. You know, staying up till 4 a.m., plotting pranks against your friends, being late to camp events, you know, nothing crazy. But at this camp, each year they would have a motto. And last year's motto was, "And then." We would get all this knowledge and growth in our faith at camp, and the main goal was to retain it and make a difference when we got back home. So when I get back to AnnArbor, I want to push and express my faith more than ever before. I get back to my church and I have a new mindset, a new energy, because what ultimately changed my life, I believe can change others as well. So every person who came through my church group doors was getting a crisp high five, like, I wanted to meet new people during church services, get numbers, try to expand my circles, create some fellowship. And while I'm on this quest to express my faith, I meet someone, and for the time being, let's call him Chris. Chris hasn't been to church much in his life, and was invited by a friend of mine, so we came. I'm excited. And I know church can be uncomfortable first couple times going, so I just make sure I have a warm welcome, and of course with one of these bad boys, We go throughout the whole youth group, and by the end he wanted to come back, so I'm excited, We exchange numbers and get to know each other, text and talk. Next week comes around, he comes back and starts to ask me a couple questions about the Christian faith. We talk about God's love, grace. We go over giving and serving others. And I'm just really excited and happy to help someone and take next steps with them. The next week comes by and Chris tells me he's busy, and I get it. We're both in high school, and I know teachers can get crazy with the homework sometimes, Next week rolls around and Chris tells me he's busy again. I get it. We all get busy weeks. The next couple weeks pass and Chris hasn't come back. I text him, "Hey, is everything okay? Is everything all right?" He tells me, "Look, Logan, I'm not coming back." I'm like, "What? We got a bunch of fun activities coming back. It's gonna be awesome, He says, "Look, man, I'm good." And I start to freak out now. I'm like, but it's not taught clearly, we could do a one-on-one each week. I'm just trying to, think of anything to try to convince him to, just come back again. And lastly, he tells me, "Look, Logan, I'm just not feeling it anymore. In other words, you lost me." He never told me why he left, but that doesn't mean it left me any less confused. I just tried to help others in their faith, but I just felt like I pushed him away. When I thought back on my quest of giving high fives and meeting new people, I started to see that Chris wasn't the only one who felt this way. Think back to all the kids I know at school who go to my church, and I don't see them at my church anymore. So I got curious. I thought, do youth really leave the church now? And now I'm here, on this stage, in front of you guys, with these really bright lights. And why am I even up here? Because I wondered why the youth are leaving the church and why they should come back. I found a study done by the Barna Group over 5 years, 8 national studies, interviewing with teens, parents, and youth pastors, and focused on regular churchgoers during their teen years and explained their reasons for disconnect from the church. I found that in this study, 59% of people will leave the church permanently or for a long period of time at the age of 15. The first couple of reasons that teens leave the church are 31% of teens said that church is boring. 24% said that it was not relevant to their career. 22% said that the Bible wasn't taught clearly, and unfortunately, 20% said that God was missing from their church experience. Now, when I go back to the first stat, it really catches my eye because I thought it'd be higher. Growing up as a kid going to church, I would make every excuse not to wake up on Sunday mornings and go. I'd be like, Mom, I'm sick, I can't do it this week. And she'd be like, that's where we're going to get this healing, come on. Sometimes I felt like an obligation, and obviously you wouldn't go to something you didn't enjoy. But when I started to actually pay attention, and I noticed when people hear that they're loved and accepted, make mistakes and that they're fully forgiven and that they're fully capable, church becomes interesting and eye-opening. And I know when kids come to church, not everyone feels called to be a pastor or work directly in church, but Christianity explores much farther than that. Christians across the globe have taken their faith into business, artistry, science, and work trades. C.S. Lewis, a well-known author best known for the Chronicles of Narnia series, is a Christian. Samuel Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, is Christian. I don't know if any of you have been to Chick-fil-A, but those nuggets surely have the love of God in them. 1 Corinthians 10:31 in the Bible says, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it for the glory of God. C.S. Lewis did it with books. Lecrae, a successful rap artist, does it with music. And crazy enough, you can spread your faith and show God's love with some chicken nuggets. And I know as teens, sometimes reading the Bible can be hard and, tough to understand, but there's some easier versions that you can read that can be easier for you. Like the ESV, Easy Read version, or the NIV, the New International Version. That can be an easier time for teens to read when they open up the Bible. And when I get to this last stat, it sucks because I want everyone to feel God's presence in the church. Christians believe to be made in the image of God, so we want to spread and show God's love and acceptance. And when 20% say that they don't feel God's presence, maybe we're not just doing a great job. This brings me to the stereotypes of Christians being exclusive and judgmental. In this study, 17% of teens said that they made mistakes and felt judged for it at church. 22% said that church feels like a country club. 36% said that the church was unfriendly to their doubt. And 29% said that they had to choose between their friends and their faith. And that can be hard. When you first hear about the center of Christianity, you're gonna doubt it because it doesn't make sense. We killed a man, crucified him, and he came back to life? I first heard that and was like, y'all tripping. Y'all been sipping that communion wine a bit too much. But that doubt is how you grow in your faith. If I didn't doubt that Jesus died for my sins, I wouldn't be here today. I know as teens, we've been molded in this digital age where we can look up answers to anything and almost have it, the internet. So it makes us harder to believe anything we see or hear, which isn't bad. There's lots of fake news and rumors out there, but we can sometimes lose faith in a religion that's based on it. I can't show a video of Jesus rising from the dead. So we have to accept that doubt in the church. In the Bible, Luke 6:36 says, "Do not judge, and you shall not be judged." Christians believe the Bible to be true, so we do our best to live it out and try to follow it. But this seems to be the one that really slips and hurts others. I mean, we commit our lives to Christ, and we suddenly think we're better than others, and I'm guilty of this myself. When I first committed my life to Christ, I would hear kids at my church going to parties, getting drunk, and I would be like, I wouldn't do that. Such sinners. And then the next day, I would fool around with girls and hook up. We think we're better, but turn out to be the opposite. I mean, people want to go where they're accepted, right? So when kids are judged at church by Christians and not judged by those who aren't, I mean, you wouldn't come. This is a study of what millennials feel the present day church feels like. I mean, 37% up there said it's judging, pointing the finger. I know the second one up there is, helping others, but it should be the first. This is a study by the Barna Group towards millennials and what the millennials feel the present day church should be. I mean, almost 50% says it should be a fellowship, and it should be. It's supposed to be. It's biblical. I mean, if judgment is the book cover for church, and kids come to this book cover and see almost over a third of it is about judgment, I mean, you wouldn't want to read that book. I mean, it's 33% said it's supposed to be life-giving, and it should be. I mean, one of the best parts about church are the people. I mean, we go to church and we see that we're not alone, and other people are growing in their faith as well. That people share the same struggles, that you can share your burdens so you don't have to carry it alone, and it's great. But also, one of the worst parts about church and why the youth are leaving are the people. But one thing that can be missed in all this is that the church isn't perfect. And the people who run it aren't either. People come to church because they want to get closer to God and grow in faith. And so some of these problems, like judgment and exclusiveness, might never fully go away. But they can be seen through a new perspective. One with forgiveness. Looking into more research, I found out that 37% of people, when they have kids, reconnect and become more active in the church. So I'm like, yes, I found the solution. I'm going to encourage everyone to get married and have kids. I guess when those terrible twos hit, people come seeking for a blessing. After all this research and late nights, the truth is, I learned that you lost me doesn't mean forever. Maybe Chris will come back. Maybe he'll come back with kids. Maybe he'll come back knowing that the church isn't perfect. But most of all, I hope that those who left would give it another shot. Because I left the church myself when I was 16. I came back, and it changed my life. And I know it can change others as well. Thank you.